Okay, so French President Macron, he just made this pretty intense statement.
Yeah.
He says Iran's nuclear program is at a breaking point. Like, it's
Right.
about to, like, explode, basically.
Ah.
So we're going to try and unpack that today.
All right.
We've got these reports from Bloomberg and Axios that are pretty alarming, actually.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that it's really easy to just kind of let the headlines, like, wash over you, but this is really serious stuff. We're talking potential nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
Possible U.S. strikes. This is not something to just kind of, like, scroll past, you know?
No, absolutely. And it's amazing how fast things seem to be changing.
Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. Bloomberg is saying that Iran's program is accelerating, like really, really fast.
Right.
They're saying they're basically at the point of no return. And Macron's calling this a direct threat to Europe and allied security. I mean,
Right.
Bloomberg is saying Iran already has enough material for multiple nukes.
Yeah, that's where it gets really scary, right?
Yeah, it's like the stuff of nightmares.
It is so...
So what does that point of no return actually mean, though?
Yeah, what does that actually mean?
It means they could build a bomb really, really fast,
Okay.
like scary fast. And historically, when a country gets to that point, it triggers a huge international response. I mean, you see sanctions, you even see military intervention sometimes.
It's like a line in the sand that no one wants to see crossed.
Yeah.
And then on top of all of that, Iran just announced that they're boosting their nuclear fuel production.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're saying it's a response to the IAEA. You know, they found those uranium particles at some undeclared sites.
Right, right.
But I don't know. Doesn't that feel like a power play to you?
It kind of does. It definitely makes you question what their real intentions are.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't exactly have the best track record when it comes to transparency about their nuclear program. So this could be like them trying to force the West's hand, you know?
Whoa. Okay. And speaking of the West's hand, Axios just dropped this bombshell report.
Biden's team is actually discussing potential strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities.
Wow, that's taken things to a whole new level.
Right.
It makes sense why Macron's using terms like breaking point. I mean, the fact that the U.S. is even considering strikes shows how seriously they're taking this.
Yeah.
And there is some historical precedent for this kind of preemptive action. Like, remember when Israel struck Iraq's Osirak reactor back in '81?
Right, right.
But obviously every situation is different.
Yeah, and to be fair to Iran, they keep saying their program is for peaceful energy purposes.
Right.
But it's kind of hard to believe them at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing. That whole peaceful energy argument, it's pretty common in these types of situations, but it's almost impossible to verify, you know? And that lack of transparency just breeds mistrust and suspicion.
Okay, so let's, like, connect the dots here.
Yeah.
Iran's program is close to going nuclear. The U.S. might take military action. International tensions are, like, sky high. It feels like we're headed for a major conflict.
Absolutely. And it brings up a really important question. What happens if Iran actually gets nukes?
Yeah.
How does that change the balance of power in the Middle East and globally?
I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
A nuclear-armed Iran.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel less safe? Does it change how you think about things like energy prices or global politics? This isn't just some theoretical thing.
No.
This has real-world consequences for all of us.
Exactly. And you also have to consider the possibility that other countries in the region might try to follow suit and develop their own nuclear weapons.
Oh, wow.
It could create a domino effect that destabilizes the entire Middle East.
That's terrifying. That whole region is already so volatile.
It is. It's a really scary thought.
So does this mean military action is inevitable? I mean, is there anything that can be done to prevent this?
Military action should always be a last resort. And even then, there's no guarantee you'll be successful. I mean, look at what happened after the Iraq War. It's a cautionary tale for sure.
Definitely. So are there any alternatives? I mean, are there any options besides military action?
There's always room for diplomacy, even in situations like this. But it requires all parties to come to the table in good faith.
Right.
And that's something that's been missing lately. There's also the possibility of economic incentives.
Yeah.
But those have to be very carefully designed and enforced.
Right.
Ultimately, it comes down to finding a way to address Iran's security concerns without compromising the security of the rest of the world. It's a tough balancing act.
Yeah, it's a really complex puzzle with no easy answers.
Yeah.
This whole deep dive has been really eye-opening, and honestly, it's a little bit unsettling.
Yeah.
It's definitely made me want to follow this story even more closely.
Me too. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from all of this.
Yeah.
We all need to stay informed and engaged.
Right.
Because the decisions that are made in the coming weeks and months could have a huge impact on all of us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thank you so much for helping us break this down.
You're welcome.
It's a lot to process, but as they say, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
So till next time,
See ya.
stay informed.